Okay, guys, I'm back. I wanted to do another video. I wanted to just say that um, I'm not an expert in this, okay? I give you advice based on my own experience and reading from really good books. You know, I base my answers and my advice and my information on really good books about narcissistic, you know, behavior, you know. Um, I also base it on my own experience, my own relationships with them, and I kind of intertwine it with my opinions. And you know, on here I give my opinion. That's all. I'm not an expert. I'm not, you know, some guru. Um, you know, that's it. Like, I'm not looking to be one either. I just come on here to share my experience with these types of people because I feel like I know quite a bit about these types of people, and if someone else can be helped by my experience, and sometimes you can just hear someone talk about something and you can be like, you know what, that happened to me, or that sounds familiar. I think, you know, and it could just be like one little thing can trigger an entire like major breakthrough in what you're dealing with. Because I know for me, I never knew anything about this. You know, back when I was dealing with this, narcissistic abuse was not even a thing. It wasn't even out yet. Like it wasn't like as popular as it is today. Um, back in the day when I was dealing with narcissists, you know, when I was younger, I attracted narcissists, and I don't know why. And I was also attracted to them as well. So I was attracted to narcissists, and they attracted me, and I attracted them. So, um, you know, now that I know better, as I gotten older, I no longer attract narcissists because I feel like they know that I'm onto them and they're not going to try. If a narcissist can't use you for something, they're not going to try to play with you if they know that you aren't going to play back, you know. So you kind of have to know what one is, though. And I didn't even know what a narcissist was until someone mentioned it to me and said, I think you did it a narcissist. And I was like, really? What is that? And they just like, it's this whole thing. You gotta like look it up. I was like, okay. I looked it up. I'm like, holy shit, this is exactly what I dealt with. And it was uncanny that I finally had an answer to the craziness and the dysfunction that I dealt with, because for the longest time, I had no idea what was wrong. Like, I knew there was something wrong the whole time. Like, really, from like probably, I would say from like 6 months on, or maybe 4 or 5 months, I knew something was very off. I just never put my finger on what it was. I thought it was just, he was just the way he was, you know? And I thought, well, maybe we're just not compatible, you know? I never thought that it had anything to do with a personality disorder. It didn't even cross my mind. I thought maybe some kind of mental issue, like, you know, I thought maybe something like that, but never to such an extent where it was just so like booming in my face that this is what I was dealing with. When you realize this, like when I realized that my ex was a narcissist, I feel like the pieces finally fit to this massive question that I had for so long. And everything just made sense. I'm like, this is why it didn't work out. And this is why he used to do this. And this is why he did that. And you finally have every answer you ever wanted. And all the answers that he never gave you, you don't need them anymore because you have them. And it's like, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I can't tell you how grateful I am, and I'm really happy that there's really good books out there about this. Anybody who's dealing with narcissism. I mean, there's so many books, so many, so many, so many, and it's endless, endless. But no, I'm not an expert. I give my opinion, I give my advice. You don't have to take my advice. I speak about it in a very conservative way because I feel like if you can benefit from my mistake, then don't do what I did because, I made the mistake of trusting a narcissist once and I won't do it again. And you kind of have to learn, I learned the hard way with these people that they can't be trusted. They can't be, it's almost like, it's almost like trusting a wild animal, right? Like you want to pet it, right? You want to go over and pet it because you think it's nice and it's interesting. So you want to go pet it, but you don't know if you pet it, it might bite you, right? You're not sure. Like you're taking a chance, right? You got to go slow up to the animal and be very gentle with it and very quiet and see what happens. And it's a risk. And that's exactly what it's like with a narcissist. Like they can bite you at any time. Okay, because these are like literally like wild animals. It's like the epitome of a wild animal because you don't know how that wild animal is going to take to you. It might be okay one day, the next day they might bite you. They might growl at you. One day they might be really nice and say you're going to feed it some food, they might take it right out of your hand and be fine. The next day they might bite you. They might growl at you. They might show their teeth. You never know what you're going to get from a narcissist because they're very, they're not stable. They're not stable. And, I say enter at your own risk, really. I advise people to stay away from them because you never know what you're going to get. People call them snake in the grass, and that's really what they are. They are a snake in the grass. When you're with them, when you are dating them, when you're in the midst of your relationship with them, and you're in the, in the beginning stages, which is like the pedestal stage, you don't realize this. You don't have no idea. You're like, I found my best friend. We're together day and night. We're together, 24/7, every year after year, we were together for years together, like every day, every night. Completely together, like really, we were together a lot. The first few years we were together, we really didn't really fight that much. I mean, we got along pretty well in that pedestal stage. Everything was great. We did all kinds of things together. He would go out of his way for me, for what he did. I mean, for what he did, yes. I mean, that was a lot for him. For the things that he did for me it was big for him. Like for somebody else, it would be like nothing, but for him, it was a big deal. But at that time, I was still very kind of immature about relationships, and it was good enough for me. I was happy with it. So I mean, I was all right with everything. Um, there was no it wasn't even like a question in my mind that there was anything really wrong until the devalue stage. When the devalue stage occurs, like I always tell everybody, there's going to be a very steep, decline in the relationship itself, in everything. You're going to feel a decline. Like it's going to be very noticeable. I don't see how people can't notice the devalue stage. Like the devalue stage is a huge decline in how they treat you, the future. Things start to get weird with them. They start playing games and doing things on purpose to kind of start arguments. This is what they do. This is the truth with a narcissist. You can't not miss it. You can't not miss it. But I've said before in my videos that narcissists are only good for a couple things. They're not good for long distance, long-term relationships. It's very late. It's like 1:30 in the morning right now. So they're only good for like you to go out and have a drink with, you know, talk to once in a while. Like narcissists are not people that you want to have like serious long-term relationships with. Okay, because of their lack of loyalty. Okay, their lack of giving. They're very selfish. Okay, their lack of not being able to talk. They don't conversate well. Their lack of trust. There's so many reasons why, I can go on and on and on and on about why they're not right for a long-term relationship. Um, they're not to be trusted. They're not. And like I told everybody before, the narcissist is like, it's like a well. It's like when you have like a cup with a hole in the bottom of it. They never get fulfilled by just one person. They need lots of people to kind of like take from, to feed from, and that's their narcissistic supply. And you'll never be enough. You will never be enough for that narcissist. I was not enough. He had to get supply from lots of different people. I just being with me, uh, his whole life would not have worked. He would have it wouldn't have succeeded. Um, because narcissists get bored. It's almost like having a hole in a cup. It just it goes right through it. They never get fulfilled with anyone. So you're going to keep trying and trying and trying to make things nice, and it's never going to be enough for that person. So it's a waste of your time, it's a waste of your energy, it's a waste of everything. And like I should have known that. Like when I was going through my narcissistic relationship, I knew that I wasn't being really appreciated the way I was appreciated in other relationships. Like I remember like another relationship I was in that was a live-in relationship, and I was really appreciated. Like whenever I did anything, I was always praised. I was praised for a lot of things. And I mean, I was young. I was like, early 20s. But he used to praise me all the time, like, wow, that was a great dinner. Like I would try and like cook stuff, and I would make like chicken and potatoes and carrots in the oven, and I'd bake it, and I would do like special like little dinners here and there just to like surprise him. And when I did, he would praise me. He would like tell me, "Oh, it's delicious," even though it probably wasn't the greatest. But he still always made me feel really good about what I was doing. I remember one time I made a cake, and it was like my first cake I ever made. I thought it came out pretty good, but I don't think it was really cooked in the middle, and he ate it anyway. He ate it anyway, and I was like, I hope that you don't like get really sick on it. But he didn't, and he still ate my cake even though it wasn't really. I don't know what I did. Like I said, I was in my early 20s when I lived with my first boyfriend, but he always made me feel good about what I did. He never put me down or insulted me ever. And he always praised me. With my narcissist, I don't think I was ever given a compliment the entire relationship. I swear to God, I was never complimented on anything. Like, it didn't matter what I did. And when I would ask him, like, do I do this good or do I do that good? He would usually say no. It's crazy. It was absolutely absurd. And I'm like, really? Like, I would think about that. I'm like, he can't be serious. I was never given one compliment. Not one. Not, oh, your hair looks nice today. Or, I really like the outfit that you have on. Or, oh, you made this. This is really good. Or, thanks for doing this for me. I was never appreciated or complimented. Not one time. Not even one time. And that's the way it was. I mean, and this became normal for me. It became normal not to be complimented or not to be like appreciated or thanked or anything like that. It was just kind of expected of me. And like an idiot, I was doing all these things, and never given any accolades for them, Um, so yeah, I mean, there's reasons, and I can go on and on about the reasons, and I love to talk about it because I feel like I know there's a lot of people out there. I've read the comments that are like me. They were confused. They were in the dark, and you know, once you finally catch on to what it is that you were dealing with, then you can treat it, But you have to know what it is that you're dealing with, and like now that I know that my ex was a full blown narcissist, everything, everything just makes so much more sense. And it's also helped me to feel better about myself. You know what I mean? Narcissists don't have an identity. They don't have one. When you're asked to, describe your narcissist, you can say, yes, he's this, and this, but they don't really have a true identity because they're like chameleons, and I've talked about this. They change based on who they're hanging out with, based on who they're dating at that time. Whatever their partner is into, that's what they're going to be into. Whatever their friend at the moment is into, that's what they're going to do. And this is what they're like. It's what they're like. They don't have a true identity. They don't have one. Like for me, for instance, I have an identity. I've been the same type of person my whole life. I've always been into the same things my whole life. But it doesn't matter who I'm dating or who I'm with. I'm the same. I don't. I'm very steadfast and stable in my in just who I am. I'm not a flippant person. I'm very sure of who I am. I'm very sure of the things I like, the things I don't like. I'm very sure of my principles. Um, I'm not a wishy-washy person or a flippant person. I'm very steadfast and stable. Narcissists are not like that. They're they flex on whoever it is at the moment that they're mirroring off of. So, like I told you, if they're dating someone who's into reggae music or whatever, they're also going to be into that. They're going to be like, oh, let's listen to this. If they're into someone who likes tennis, they're also going to be into tennis. If they're dating somebody who, I don't know, um, does a certain thing, a certain hobby, they're going to take part in that hobby too, but not just with them. They're going to be like totally into it, like, oh my god, I love that too. Like, and it's like, really? Like, since when do you like this? And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's really nuts. But I give my advice, and like I said, I give my opinions on based on factual, you know, on facts that I've read in really good books and my own experience, my own firsthand experience dealing and having a relationship with one. If you want to call it a relationship, I call it a relationship because it was kind of like a relationship. It was like a relationship. I don't really call it a full on relationship because it was really missing a lot of parts to a real relationship. But it kind of was like it was. We hung out a lot in the very beginning. In the beginning, it was a relationship. Um, he was committed, and I was too. Towards the end, not so much, not really, but in the very beginning, it was fine. Um, and a lot of people talk about this too. And I've talked about it myself, is, you know, how you feel when you're going from the devalue stage to the discard stage. Now, I never really reached the discard stage because I broke up with him first. Um, but I do call a discard, I do call it the discard because they discard you by um When you do break up with them, whether you break up or they break up, it's a total discard because like it's you never get closure. You don't get your closure. You don't get your validation. You get nothing like that. So it is a discard. You're discarded. You're not needed anymore. They have a new supply source. They have somebody new that they're going to feed off of. They're going to take from, and they don't need you anymore. So they discard you. And when they discard you, they will give you the silent treatment for years. I can't be more adamant about the fact that they do. They will give you the silent 4 years. Like they will not make a peep. You won't get a text message, a phone call, nothing. 4 years. They justify that by whatever. You did this, you did that, you did this, and they're very immature in their reasoning too. Like their reasoning is, like I said, junior high school, like the mentality of a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old kid. That's their reasoning. Um, they'll also justify it by being in relationships. I say, well, I was in a relationship. Well, okay, if you're in a relationship, then what are you doing on dating sites? Like, what's with that? If you're so true to your relationship, then what are you doing on dating sites? Like, what's that about? Like, why do you need to go on dating sites? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? Their justifications hold hold no water. It's completely empty because they're hypocrites, complete hypocrites. Um, but the discard is totally a discard. It is a discard. Like that's it. Um, Friendship is not possible with these people either. And not that you want to be friends with a narcissist, because you really don't want to be friends with these people. They're not people that are really friends. Like they're not friends. Like what's the definition of a friend, right? The narcissist goes against everything a friend is, right? Like they're completely the opposite of what a friend is. So I don't. It's not going to work. A narcissist is good for a couple things, as I said before. They're good for like short term stuff. Hey, can you help me move? Or, um, hey, can you want to go out for a drink just to pass the time? If you do that, yeah, they're good for that. Um, they could be entertaining, you know. Um, they're good for a couple things. They're not good for long term, serious, committed, monogamous, real relationships. You know, um, they have the mentality of a junior high schooler, and like I said, for me, if I was dating him when I was in my 20s, yeah, probably would have gotten along great. Because when you're in your 20s, it's kind of expected to kind of be immature and you know youngish and stuff like that. But like once you're hit like late 30s, 40s, like no, no. But yeah. So I'm very happy to be giving advice. I'm very happy that people want to hear or kind of like value the things I say. Because like I said, I have read lots of books on this stuff just to kind of, make sure that I was dealing with a real narcissist. Like, yeah, I am. Like I have everything is down pat, like what I know about narcissists. I intertwine that with my own experiences and that's what I get my information on. So what I say is really true. And there is no ifs, ands, buts, or anything like that. Like, this is how they are. And narcissists don't get better. They don't change. They can't get better. They can't learn from mistakes. And their disorder will only worsen as they get older. They don't get better by saying, hey, you're a narcissist. And say, okay, I'm going to clean myself up and not be a narcissist anymore. It doesn't work like that. Their personality, they've had this personality since birth. And you can't change someone's personality. It's so deeply ingrained in them by now, especially if they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s. It's too ingrained. They can't be helped. It envelops every single part of their being when you're a narcissist. It's at every angle, it's at every single point in your life. Like, there's no way to get out of it. So, narcissists don't, there is no cure for this. It's a lifelong disorder. Um, I know people have asked that, like, can you stop being a narcissist? No, you can never stop being a narcissist. It's a lifelong thing. Um, it is a it is a part of their personality that can't be changed. It's ingrained in them to be the way they are. Nothing will ever change that. Not a person, not a new relationship, nothing. It's just how they are. Um, there's other disorders that are like narcissism that kind of go hand in hand with that. It's borderline personality disorder is also a really nutty one too. Um, it's not as bad as narcissism, but that's another kind of a popular personality disorder that's going around today. It wasn't that popular back in the day, but it's getting more popular today. I don't really know much about that one, but that one kind of is like, it's not, I can't say that it's like it. It's not really like it, but it's on the same spectrum, I think, as narcissism, I think. I've never really read about it. I never really like researched it, so I don't really know much about it. But people have talked about that too. Um, so yeah, that's basically it as far as this one goes. I just want everyone to know that, like, I'm not an expert. I talk from the things I know. I mean, I feel like I know a lot about this disorder, and I can spot one really easy now. Like, I don't need time. I could talk to somebody, and within, if I was like going on a date with someone, I'll know by the end of the date if that guy's a narcissist or not. I know very easily. It's very easy to spot narcissists. Yeah, it is. Very, very easy. I know what to look for. I know the signs, and I know what to look for with these people. So yeah. So I guess I am an expert, but I don't like to call myself an expert because I feel like conceited and like I'm all full of myself and like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to. I try and be as humble as I can all the time. I don't like to give myself these titles like I'm an expert, and like I kind of am, but it's like I don't like calling myself that because I feel like it makes me feel like I'm some like haughty person, and I'm definitely not like that. So I don't know. That's basically it for this one. So I will come back with another video. I cannot wait until I'm in the videos. Like, that's going to be great. And I know that it's not as interesting when you're just listening to me. And when you can see me, the videos will be a lot better once you can see me. But I know it's kind of boring just listening to a voice, but like, this is all I can do right now until I figure out my digital camera. And once I have the time to really play with it and just take some time and figure out, the uploading of it and everything and getting it uploaded from my digital camera, I have to figure all this stuff out. I don't know. This is my first time actually really having a digital camera. So I've never really had one before. I mean, I had one when I was younger, but I never did videos or nothing like that. So once I do that, things will be a little bit better as far as the videos go. But, you know, it's something. And like I said, this is a little hobby of mine that I really do enjoy. And if anybody finds my information helpful, then I'm happy to do it. So anyway, that's it for this one.